Your business's brand is powerful, echoing your soul's aspirations out to your market. The name you choose, the date you launch, the colors you adopt, all vibrate your vision to potential clients. Does your business reflect your aspirations and vision? Welcome to Colors Behind the Brand. Join our live and interactive exploration into the energy of color and numerology behind well-known business brands, special guest case studies, and surprise audience spotlights showing you examples of businesses with soul. And now, here are your hosts, Moira Bush, founder of the Moira Bush Academy for Soul Businesses, and Amy Bell, founder of United Colors of Design magazine.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay. We had a little orange theme thing going, Amy.
We do. We did a little coordination, had a little wardrobe change just to get on board.
Yeah, well, I'm in an orange week with the practitioners. So this week we're eating oranges, drinking oranges, and bathing in orange bottles. So yeah, cool.
Fun. That's fun. I'm really excited because last week was so over the moon. I didn't know how we were going to topic, but I think we may have come a close topper for this week. Apple and Microsoft.
Yeah, I had so many. I couldn't believe all the wows that came out of the show talking about the metaverse and Facebook and Meta and the information that came out of that and how the numerology was digging into what's really happening on the planet when it comes to all this new technology. So yeah, it was, and just thank you to the viewers for supporting us and sharing the show and letting other people get to know that this stuff is out there. You're going to, in 5 to 10 years, your websites are going to be dead. It's going to be irrelevant. So if you don't know what's going on, please go and watch that episode and catch up with the changes that are just, it's like an avalanche coming towards us right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's making my eye twitch just thinking about it.
Yeah. Well, and then on one of our shows, we asked the audience which company they would like us to do numerology on, and somebody actually asked if we would do Apple. So we decided to go around the rabbit hole, but we couldn't just do Apple.
Moira, you're like a make work project for yourself. She was texting me saying, we can't just do Apple. If we do Apple, we have to do Microsoft. And then, we have to do the owners of those two or the founders. And then we have to go. And I'm like, whoa. But every time you do that and you go down that rabbit hole, it just blows my mind. So I'm really, really waiting with great anticipation about the Apple and Microsoft duo.
That's right.
Yeah. So today we also, in addition to looking at our well-known brands, we also bring on an entrepreneur and have a look at their branding and see what's going on behind their brand. So today we've got Judy Weinberg, who is the art director for United Colors of Design, our magazine. And so I'm just going to read you her bio. So we've all got her information solid. And then we'll bring Judy on and we can look at what's going on behind her brand. And then we'll get to Apple and Microsoft, right? Judy is the owner of Graphic Essentials. She is a freelance graphic designer and vintage shop owner based in Toronto, Canada. Go Canada. Judy has always been a creative, whether through pottery, interior design, photography, graphic design, and now as a curator of all things vintage. Judy has spent the past 25 years as a graphic designer and 20 years of which operating her own firm, Graphic Essentials. And she supports and works collaboratively with her clients to design creative visual solutions across all industries around the globe. There we go.
Wow. Wow. And you how did you nail it as your director?
You know what? The universe was conspiring to just bring joy to my life. So that's how it happened.
Oh.
In 2020, Judy turned her passion for vintage repurposing and restyling into a new online retail venture. She opened the proverbial online doors of Jack's daughter of all trades to tap into her lifelong passion for antiques and everything vintage.
Wow.
Welcome, Judy.
Woohoo!
Wow.
Yes, we got an orange school.
Orange.
Yeah.
Okay, I saw these two ladies and I had to go switch out my scarf. So now we are all color coordinated here today.
Oh, golly me.
You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm like super excited to find out what my colors really mean in my life.
Well, you know, you and I have dabbled in it, but because, you know, the mechanic's car is always the worst repair. The girls who do the design for the magazine are always the last to get their colors done. So, you know, I thought if we bring you on the show, then for sure you get a double tap of color combinations and color insight. And so I'm really excited to do this because we know that you've wanted to do a rebrand. You were coming up on 20 years, right? This year is your 20th year. So it's time.
Actually, right now is my 20th anniversary of being an incorporated or designer.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's quite a milestone, Judy. Wow.
I know, too many years have gone by way too fast.
All right. Well, let's get the screens up and we'll see what's going on behind Judy's brand. Awesome.
Yeah, Judy, your colors is indigo and orange. Is that correct? Is that your logo colors? Okay.
Yes.
I love that the orange is there because it talks about you being this creative kind of genius. You know, orange is everything to do with the artist, and but I also like that you into this whole vintage drive as well. You know, you have this interest in vintage and everything antique because, you know, our orange does speak about the past and about the history of people and you know, especially tribes and ancient kind of cultures. So that also ties in even with that business. So I just love that you've got that orange there. And yeah, how long have you had this logo, this design and color choice?
I designed it in 2001.
Wow. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And are you looking to refresh or change anything?
Yes, I've been talking about rebranding for probably the last 6 months, but I've been so slammed in my professional life that I haven't had time to focus on my own branding.
Well, maybe, you know, when we talk about the colors tonight and the numbers behind it, that, you know, it might spark something for you. So, you know, shall we get going with that? How's that?
Yeah, I need some inspiration.
You want some inspiration?
Bring on the inspiration, ladies.
So you literally founded the company the 25th of January 2002, and those numbers become 12 and 3. That bottle at the top is violet and the bottom is red, and that 12 is called Heaven on Earth.
Nice.
Yeah. I love this combination when I see it come up in people's logos.
Wow, that's encouraging.
Yeah. And literally the day that you start your company sets the energy and the intention behind what you're going to want to achieve in the lifetime of that business. So, you know, it's quite a big intention to say, I want to get heaven on earth. This company is going to bring me heaven on earth. I want everything.
Well, it is interesting because one of my goals of starting my own business was to control my own time and how I manage my time in my personal life and my business life. And over the last 20 years, I've been so fortunate to have control over my time and to be able to do things that I enjoy. I kind of get to dabble.
Right. And again, you know, 3, what I've said to people who've got 3 in their business, it appears somewhere in their business, in the history of their businesses, it says you're never just going to do one thing, you're going to do possibly 3 different things. So again, the vintage work and, you know, the magazine work, and you kind of multitask your heaven on earth. And honestly, you would only do things that gave you that joy and that pleasure. So that to me is what those 2 bottles say. I don't know if, Amy, if you've got something you want to say about
I think over the evolution of Judy's business, it's gone from, you know, when you first started it, it was really quite expansive. Like you were doing a lot of work in that area and had a lot of clients. And now I think it's time to refresh it and maybe include some of that coral in your logo so that you can bring back that same expansive energy. Like when you first started, it just goes because it's already, you know, it's starting, the momentum was there. But then as time goes on, I think the refresh is going to boost it. If anything, I would like to see coral for sure.
Well, it's interesting that you say coral because for my vintage business, there is coral in that logo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. No, we'll have to do the Jack's Daughter of All Trade numbers another time and see what's going on in there. But for this one in particular, I think I think you have created heaven on earth. I mean, 20 years ago, it was not really heard of that a woman is going to start her own graphic agency, you know, and go out on her own and do her own thing. It was kind of like you worked in a job and you got the pension and you did all that stuff. But I like that you had that energy to go out and be the entrepreneur right from the start.
Me too.
Yeah.
So your date of birth is also important in a process like this, Judy, because if I was doing this reading or Amy was doing this reading for you on a personal level, there would be information that would come out. But when we look at it through the filter of you being the founder and, you know, the CEO of the company, you know, you're the boss. What do these bottles and your date of birth say about the influence you have on the business that you've created? And what do you bring? What do you enhance, you know, as the CEO of the company? And you were born on the 13th, and that's a 4. And Amy and I love talking about 4. We don't love the bottle so much, but we love talking about 4.
Okay.
And
I'm getting better with 4.
Yeah. So 13 is about transformation, and so you bring a transformative energy to your business. So and 4 says you can't be stuck in the mud for too long. You know, that 13-4 is about the transformation. As your business evolves and the markets change, you'll be able to help it evolve and change. As the foundations of what the business is built on changes, you'll be able to put a new foundation in. And especially with technology in the last 20 years has evolved. So you would have had to change so many times to keep up with what's happening. Yeah. So you really bring that to the table. So I like that about that 13 and 4. I don't know. Are you comfortable with those colors?
Purple, yes. So the bottom of the 4 bottle, is it turquoise or is it green?
Deep turquoise. Turquoise, yeah.
And the gold, or is it yellow?
Yellow on turquoise, yeah.
Yellow is not my favorite color, but I would like to have more yellow in my life because it's a happy color.
Yeah. It is the color of joy, and definitely, you know, you said with your heaven on earth, joy is important. So that could work for you to bring in a little tinge of yellow somewhere as well. Your overall numbers comes to a 33 and 6. Amy, what do you read there?
Oh boy, like Judy's got to master the love. That's what I say. Like just we've done a personal reading together, so we've had our conversations about that. But yeah, there's, you know, the love is in place to make sure she understands that she is loved and that not to forget that, and then to love everything right, as we've had that conversation too. So yeah.
Yeah, and it also says that the energy you're putting and bringing into your business is you're doing this for love, and pink brings money as well as love. So, you know, if you do it, if you do your projects with the energy of love and you do it through that love funnel, then money should be able to come back through the funnel towards you as well. So it's very important. But it's one of the things, you know, we talk about these bottles as this is what it is, but it's also what we're learning as we're going along. So 20 years down the line, you probably have a clearer idea of what do you really love to create and who do you love to work for, and do you create it from love? And you know, when you create a product for somebody and you've been in a bad space, they're not going to be happy, and you have to probably redo it, and you lose money in the end. So you would have already learned that's very, very important for you to do it in that space of pink fluffy candy floss kind of love.
Well, and this is what's happening when Judy and I connected. It's allowed her to come into a different kind. Like, she's been very corporate-y in her business, and her clients have been very like corporate and let's do presentations and teaching aids and all that kind of stuff. And so doing the magazine is a little bit different for her. And it's making me happy because I can see how much it makes her happy to step out of her zone like that and just get into something with no boundaries whatsoever. Like,
yeah,
let's make it happen.
Love it. Love it. Right. So when we look at your name of your business, Graphic Essentials, I don't put incorporated or limited or any of the kind of bylines, because when you speak to somebody, you don't say my business is Graphic Essentials Incorporated or Graphic Essentials Limited. Yeah. People don't speak that the legal side of the name. So I just focus on Graphic Essentials, because when we work with color and numbers, it's about the frequency you speak most. What do you say mostly to people? You would say, my business is called Graphic Essentials. So that is the frequency we want to work with, because that gives that that sound wave and that energy wave that goes out from your name when people speak it or they see it or they read your name. Now, the consonants at the top come to a bottle 37, which is C1 in the color mirror system, 10 and 1, and your vowels come to a 30 and a 3. So from my perspective, and Amy must jump in here as well, because she knows you a little bit better, but from my perspective, that C1 bottle is, as your face to the world, is important, because there it says here, guys, you have to pay me for what I do. And you got to know that your name, it will help you to get people to, to dish out the money. So if you've ever hesitated or held back on raising your prices or not valuing yourself, you've got to stop it, because your business already tells people there's high value here. Yes. That red in that bottle is all about money and building a foundation of money. So if you go and raise your prices after the show, and people aren't going to care that you did. They're going to want your work anyway. It's not going to be about the prices you charge. It's going to be about the fact that they want to work with you, because Graphic Essentials promises them that they're going, that you're going to give them value for money. Because 10, the next number, is the Wheel of Fortune. So, again, you're backed up by the energy of things working. If you love something and you have joy, money has to come in. And you got to be, but only difficult thing with you with having that number 6 as a CEO, your 33-6, is difficulty in receiving. So, at any time you feel that, and this is where the bottles come in, that's very useful in a session like this, is if you feel you have issues receiving, go and throw yourself in a number 6 bath. And soak in it, pull the plug, and let everything that blocks you and restricts you from receiving more and having more and attracting more and inviting more, let it go down the drain, and let the earth take care of it, so that you can up your prices and you can attract more clients.
Do you have like a large bottle of that? Or
barrel?
Oh my God, Judy, that is crazy. We just had this conversation, 2 days ago?
Yeah.
Where we were investigating some information around upping prices or, just being competitive. But Judy and I have been working together on a couple different projects, and she's much better at, the formal side of quoting and, I'm charging this and this is what it is. And Amy, just come along on my train here. And so I think it says it right there. Like,
Yeah.
I wish I knew this before. Then I would have said, Judy, what are we doing? Let's have no problem raising the prices.
Well, it's funny you say that, Amy, because I haven't raised my prices in so long, or even really over the last 10 years, I've only raised it incrementally.
Yeah.
And this is, I think 2022 is the year that this 20-year-old business puts its foot down and says, this is the value I bring. Come on the ride.
Definitely. And the energy of the name will support that. And you as a CEO with a 6, it'll support that energy. It's not going to collapse in on you. It actually will give you results. That's really what these colors say. Your number 1 is that this is a company that is bright. It literally what that 1 says, this company has high IQ. This is a company you're going to get solutions for your problems, and every client is going to feel like they are number 1. So you can never use the sentence if you go with one client, say, oh, I can't work with you right now because I'm busy with another client. Because you couldn't do that. You'd always go, well, this client is important. They wouldn't even know the other client was keeping you busy and messing up your time schedule, right? Because you treat everyone like they're number 1. Love that. Yes. Your inner workings is the 30 and 3, that is where your creative genius sits. Internally, what you don't tell everybody is you're actually bloody good at what you do. And they'd be very lucky to have you, but you don't actually market that or put it out into the world. You secretly within yourself know that you're really good at what you do. So that really is what that 30 and 3 tells me, is it's super, super, super creative, but no need to blurt it out and tell everybody how fabulous you are. But of course, with shows like this now, there's secrets out. So
yeah, secrets out.
Everybody knows, Moira.
Not so much a hidden thing anymore, hey, Judy?
Yes, I love that.
That's hilarious.
Agreed. I think that, anytime, like I said, even in your birth or your founded year, when you've got the 3 energy, you've got the 3 energy sitting behind you, like that's just, to me, a great, somebody called it grown up pink. Coral is the new pink.
Yes.
And it certainly works in your favor here.
Yeah.
It's interesting that I look at the colors in the bottles and I see the colors in my wardrobe.
Good.
Most designers, well, in my, I guess, limited view, come to meetings dressed in black.
They don't want to show their colors.
Yeah. And I go everywhere with colors. My house is completely, all the walls of my house are very pale, but my house is filled with color.
Yeah. Nice.
Good.
Well, look at all the colors that you have around you, through the business you work in and through your date of birth. So, it's lovely. Your total comes to 67, which in Colour Mirrors is G16. And G16 is a bottle that's called Serenity. So there is something about your business that gives off an energy of serenity, calmness. If somebody is crazy going, I don't know what to do with my business, and they come to you, they have this feeling of you calm them down, you take control, and you just bring in that energy of serenity to the business transaction. It's coral at the top, so coral's definitely come up for you there again.
Yeah. And then to me, it looks like once she's got them calm, she completely flips their world upside down with what she's created.
At 13-4. Yeah.
I'll calm you down, and then I'm going to rock your world, and everything is going to go crazy. Yes, Lisa, Charmaine, 4 again. Another one.
Yeah, so definitely that 13-4 you have in your date of birth, Judy, it's also repeated in your business name, and that's a nice match, because I agree with Amy. You are somebody that can very calmly say to somebody, look, what you think you've done is completely wrong. I have a brand new idea and I'm going to show it to you. And you would come in with a transformative idea, and you'd come in with a different way of guiding them forward that they might not have thought of. So that's kind of why I say you have this creative genius about you as well. You come up with solutions that the people can't think about. They can't see further than their nose, literally. And you can kind of put something brand new in front of them, and then they love it and happy. And that's why you should charge more.
Well,
I can feel the energy.
That's my job, right? That's
You
my
work
job,
hard.
is to,
Yeah.
you know, I firmly believe that everybody has their own unique abilities, and sometimes, you know, you can stick to your own and just stay there, or you can kind of help others and like branch out. I don't know. I guess I kind of like, I think it's part of the dabbling. I like to dabble. So I kind of have a little bit of this and that, and, you know.
Well, Judy, I mean, Jack's daughter of all trades is actually your other business. So dabbling is your life.
After like however many, I guess, little adventures, I call them adventures, that I've gone off on little tangents in terms of my business life, from doing photography, graphic design, then like becoming a real estate investor and doing interior design and construction. And now I'm going back to my roots of loving craftsmanship and color and design in my vintage business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Judy, out of the bottles on the screen there, which one draws you the most?
I have to say the red one.
The C1.
Yeah.
So that's coral and reds.
And the 30.
Yeah. And the 30 is it's turquoise, and that's a complementary to the coral. So when Amy's intuition about bringing coral into a new rebranded design is actually a really, really good idea, because you've got 1, 2, 3, and 4 fractions. And then plus you've got in your your founder's date. So definitely it's a color that would do well. And actually, if you think about it, you don't have any orange here, and you don't have any indigo. So the logo colors are not quite in sync with the name. So if you took the orange and changed it to coral, it would immediately link the energy together between the name vibration and the visuals of the logo, because really coral is the kind of higher frequency of the orange, if that makes sense. It's the pastel shade of orange.
Yeah.
And the other color that I really like is the turquoise that's in the 30 bottle, the top of the 30 bottle.
Yeah.
So I have a question. Is the top of the 30 bottle a completely different color than the bottom of the 4 bottle?
It's deep turquoise and pale turquoise. So it's just a variation, a shade variation. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And as a therapy bottle, the top fraction is oil and the bottom is water. So it's literally oil holding the darker color floating on turquoise water.
Mm-hmm.
Neat.
Yeah, I wouldn't even mind seeing that turquoise and coral combo. It seems to be coming up a lot in my world right now, where people are interested in that combo. There's a couple other people I'm working with that are interested, like that these colors have come up in their brand, like in their reading, and now those are the colors they've chosen. And so I think it would just, like, when you look at that logo you've got now, Judy, and even if you just replace the coral and the turquoise for the orange and the indigo, like it's already just brightened itself up a lot more, right?
Right.
That the flower that looks platinum to me, and the bottom of your G16 is platinum.
It's metallic silver.
Yeah, well, that's platinum, so it's pretty close, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because that logo is actually, I think that's my founding logo, but the eye I think was blue before, so the background wasn't the blue or the purpley blue.
Judy,
the dot of the flower was blue. I can't remember.
I think there's 13 petals in your flower.
There are 13 petals in my flower.
Okay, so look, you've got 13 in there.
That
I'm
was
just like squinting, trying to count. I could have just asked you. Of course, you would know how many petals.
Of course, it's 13.
Of course, it's 13. I was born on the Friday the 13th. It is like the direction my life has gone. It's so weird. So many things come up in my world as 13. It's bizarre.
Okay, so that was done on purpose. But now that you see, you can see obviously you're born on the 13th, so we can get that. But then when you look at the total for your graphic essentials, the 13 appears in there too. So that's interesting that you decided to put that in as an element in your logo. I would kind of keep something like keep the flower, or maybe just update the flower a little bit and like just
I
2.0 it kind of.
It's because when I designed the logo, which I totally forgot about this, it was going to be like a seasonal thing, and I was going to change the flower for other elements depending on the season. So obviously in winter it would have been a snowflake, because flowers and snowflakes are two things that like are I love those things. But then I couldn't think of other ones that I really loved enough to put in my logo. So it just stayed the flower, because I am a flower person.
Nice. Yeah. Well,
also, you're global. Your bio said you were globally, which means some people, you might be in your snowflake winter season, but somebody on the other side of the equator isn't, and they're not going to understand your snowflake.
Correct. Absolutely.
So, maybe having one single symbol is, and especially 13 petals, is strong. Yeah, it definitely links your design to the energy of graphic essentials.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Fabulous. Hey, we've made some progress here, I hope, Judy.
Yeah, I love those. I love all the colors in the reading. Like, I am learning to love yellow. That's also a color in my vintage business logo. So coral, turquoise, and
a little special
yellow in that logo.
Yeah.
So weird.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, those colors feel fresh, and they're about new beginnings, and the sun's shining, and no, I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because I went through such a huge transition in 2020, and I really felt like that this was my time to start again, or start over, and bring joy back into my life. And it's working. It really is working.
Nice. Oh, thank you, Judy. Thank you so much for coming on and allowing us to peek inside your brand. And thank you for being a good sport and allowing us to open the doors.
No, my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on. This is like, I love this process. It's like, I don't know what it is, but it just makes me happy, this process.
Nice.
It's reaffirming, and it gives you new direction. Like if you're stuck. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. All righty. Well, now we're going to go see what Apple and Microsoft are up to.
Oh, right. Okie dokie. So Apple. So they've had quite a few logo changes. It started, the first one, it's not very clear there, in 1970.
What is that?
That is actually a picture of Sir Isaac Newton sitting under the apple tree, and the apples on his head. It was very symbolic that they did, and they didn't keep it for very long. And then they decided to just, get Sir Isaac Newton out of the way and just go with an apple. What's interesting is they went with the color apple. And then all of a sudden here, further on, 1998, it became black, and then it became silver, and then it became like a platinum color, and then it became gray, and it kind of lost all the colors and whitewashed all the way to where it is now.
Yeah,
but they did have some color in, so that was the progression for their logo colors.
What is your feeling like on that 1977 one? Because I have a rainbow. Lots of people are using the rainbow in their logos, and what does that mean if someone's using a rainbow? Because I'm having trouble with that.
Yeah, but the thing is, for me, the rainbow has to go. My body does a funny thing when I see blue in the wrong place. you know,
Oh, yes, they're
and
rainbows.
it doesn't follow in the sequence of frequency like it does on the body, you know, where it's, you know, red and orange and then green and then blue and then purple and then magenta and then white, you know. So if when they kind of have them squished around like that, I get a little topsy-turvy with it. And but strangely enough, in the beginning years when I worked studying with color mirrors, it didn't do that with me because I was still topsy-turvy. But the minute I studied color and I integrated it and I did some healing, for me, then everything had to make sense and the colors had to be in a flow. So yeah, I think it just says it says something about the company at that time, that they weren't in the flow yet. They were still discovering themselves. They were still getting their ducks in a row, their colors in a row.
Yeah.
So what we had a look here was it was founded on the 1st of April, 1976. And those numbers is 28, 10, and 1. And there sits that 28 bottle that Judy was kind of talking about, a yellow and turquoisey thing as well. And I said it's like a new beginning, because that's what 28 is. It's a new beginning. And then they've got the Wheel of Fortune and the 1. And of course, you know, Apple was a company that was going to be the leader in its field. There was just nothing and nobody like it. So they had this whole number one, the whole energy of the launch date was they're going to be number 1. 10 also was that Wheel of Fortune. They're going to make a shed load of money. So that was set up from the beginning with this company.
Yeah.
And then Steve Jobs, the who was really the designer of energy, unbelievably, his date of birth is exactly the same.
Oh my God, that's nuts! Like,
I know. This is bizarre. This is bizarre stuff.
All the combinations that can come up for your birthday, all of the dates, all of the numbers, like so many combinations, and the day. I wonder if he knew that. I wonder if he planned that.
Don't know. What was interesting is the day he passed, he was a 10-1 as well. So that said that whatever he was supposed to achieve as in his incarnation in this lifetime, he did.
Yeah.
He did it. It's like I tick that box, poof, I'm done.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Steve Wozniak, he kind of did the programming and engineer energy in the business, and he was a 25-7. So he's the one that would trust issues, because 25 is about trust. So he kind of brought in, you know, trust issues, and it kind of was probably not easy for him, you know, and I think his trust would have been broken, and he was betrayed at some point as well in the business. But 7 says he was really artistic in his develop. He was, and turquoise is also the technology guru, right? So that made sense for him. And they had a third partner, Ronald Wayne. He kind of was an older bloke that knew systems and could do admin and legalities and that kind of thing. So he was part of the business as well. And he was a 33. So there was a little bit of that genius, creative energy he had to make sure that the way that Apple was founded, that, you know, it's something that could become solid over time. Mm-hmm. So that's great. And then what I've also discovered is when Wozniak, and because they were both Steves, right? So when the two Steves met, Wozniak was 21 years old and Jobs was 16. At that time, Wozniak had already invented a blue box. They called it the blue box. But it was a telephone that you could phone overseas free. And he could create it, but, you know, he didn't know what to do with it. And Steve Jobs at 16 came in and went and sold like 200 of them, and they shared the money. So their partnership and the way they found that they could work together started at a very, very young age. But right then already, Amy, have a look at that number 1. The company had that 1, and Steve Jobs had the 1. So that ego, he, you know, Steve was very kind of, I'm my own person, and don't tell me what to do.
I've had my run-ins, yes, with the 1.
I have my ideas, right? And then, of course, Wozniak was very well cast into the role of a co-founder with the turquoise guru energy, the technology energy. And what's really interesting is 1 also brings up the ideas man, you know. So what Steve did at one point was he would, you know, the phone would come. I'm going to borrow Michael's phone here. The phone, you know, the designers would come up with a phone, mm-hmm. and he'd look at it and go, it needs to be half the size, half the width, and weigh half the weight. and he'd give it back to the people who were coming up with the hardware, and they'd say, we can't do that. And he says, you'll find a way. So he had these visions of the products that Apple could create and what they could look like, but nobody yet knew how to do it. And he pushed them. He pushed them. That's what he did. And I mean, he came across very hard at some people and in the industry, but that's what ones do. They get the job done. So yeah, and of course him matching Apple energy, of course he was exactly the person to get Apple out into the world like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then if we have a look here, Apple is a 17-8, coral and indigo and violet in its face to the world. Man, that's the wish bottle, and it's about stars, star energy. It's about people coming from other planets, and it's about, creating things that are not from this planet. It kind of came off a star and landed on this planet and became a thing, so the whole technology that came through the Apple Macs. 8 is about abundance. This is a company that is dead. Look what Apples have done. They've not just created money for themselves, but it's promised this abundance for everybody that's invested in the company. Their shares are worth, their turnover is billions every year. It's incredible.
Yeah, I get the feeling of like your wish is my command with that bottle, like they created something where app designers can go crazy. They can be included. They can, anything you can wish for can be found on this iPhone. And it's sort of the phone that transformed everyone's phones and every other phone business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then internally, they've got 6, that pink Venus. Again, we had it with our guest Judy. She is a 6 energy, and this for Apple, this energy is in the at the heart of who they are and what they do. And 6 is love and money, and 6 is about feminine energy, and it's about creative energy. So they had to be, these boys had to, through the Apple energy, had to tap into some sort of creative energy, which tends to be very feminine. The masculine energy we sometimes speak about is getting the job done, the action, the taking action, setting the goals, making the steps, and to reach the end goals, the planning, the architect of the way of creating. But the pink is feminine. It has a creative, which is about visualizing. And Steve definitely, he saw things, he visualized things, and then said, go out and make it.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that describes a lot of the internal workings of this company.
And it's a sexy looking piece of machinery.
Oh, yeah. It is beautiful, because definitely pink is the color that's about aesthetics, beauty, and yeah, love it. Oh, nice. Nice insight there. And then they come to a 23 and a 5. And 23 is indigo. It again speaks about royal stars and royalty and, galaxies. And it just has this midnight kind of starry quality, to that color. And initiations. And so this is a company that takes you through initiations. It takes you through tests and trials. They themselves have been through tests and trials, many of them. At one point, Steve wasn't even the CEO of the company, and then he went and he left and created something new, and then they bought him and the product back into the company. They knew they needed him, because obviously the dates of birth and the founding date explains why. But, this is a company that is a 5 energy, and a 5 is the master communicator, the master networker. This one is called Mercury, the planet of communication. So this is, again, the communication is off planet, it's in the cosmos, it's in our galaxy. So it just felt wonderful that is, it just explains them. To me, it does anyway. I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they were the first to introduce, the what do you call it? FaceTime. Like actually communicating via something that we had only ever seen on Star Trek.
Yeah, off-world stuff.
Yeah, and they brought it in.
Yeah.
And the initiation bottle sometimes confuses me because I see it as a bit of a heavy energy, but
it's structure. It says this is the way things are done, and if you think about how they run their business, they have a certain, I mean, look at the Apple stores. They are run like a military machine.
Yes.
Everything is, that's a very indigo trait to have in the business, but that makes the buyers and the investors who are, who love Apple products feel safe, because the iPhone's always going to be upgraded, the new one's going to come out, the new technology will always come out. You have that feeling of confidence that you get from somebody who has that strong indigo leadership. And indigo's third eye energy. This is about a company that can see into the future.
Oh my God, yes. Like, obviously, that was so in their DNA of that company. Yeah.
Let's go and have a look at Microsoft, because I want to eventually bring the two together, and we've got another slide where we're going to just compare the two, but let's just dig into Microsoft for now. So Microsoft has also went through, an evolution, and their color came last, where Apple, the color came first.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's so true.
So Microsoft now, of course, this is, but they were black and gray all the way through, same as Apple, the same color shades. Incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
This was founded on the 4th of April, 1975, so a year prior to when Apple was founded, Microsoft was founded. That is a 30 and a 3. So they had this creative genius energy with that 30, and then 3 was about they were going to go big and global and expansive with it. Different directions. They weren't just going to do what Apple did, which was personal computers. Microsoft was going into various different avenues, which they did. Then Bill Gates, look at that. Hello.
You know what? I just love how, because we had Judy on. Judy did not know we were doing Apple. We didn't even know what the numbers were on Apple and Microsoft. And we had that third guy in the Apple lineup there who had the 33 energy. Now this guy, we had Judy. Like it all just comes in together.
No, Judy's kind of tapped into this, but she's kept up with technology, so she will understand this whole Microsoft and Apple game that's been going on for the last 20 years in her business. Right, so here we go. So Bill Gates is a 33, so he is a creative genius. 3 says he was destined to become the richest man on the planet through technology. That was just absolutely it through this company. It is just absolutely what it is. There's no words to actually describe the feeling you get when you look at this man's colors. But he did have the sexual kind of stuff that has been coming up in the press lately, when his divorce came through, that he was a little bit of a ladies' man, I think, and of course coral is sexual energy, and geniuses do have a lot of creative energy. So, and creative activity sits in the sexual center, so of course that's a very active center. So, but we're not here to look at that, but I just thought I'd mention that as a side about his personality and date of birth. And then, of course, he had a business partner called Paul Allen. But Paul Allen actually left about 8 years into the business because he was diagnosed with Hodgkin's, and he actually passed away. They also had a tumultuous relationship. And then when, at the time Paul Allen died, him and Bill got together, and they made up and became friends again. But there sits the 23-5. So, Paul Allen was definitely going to have lots of trials and tests in his life. And he definitely had that energy of the initiation. So let's have a look at Microsoft, the name. 25-7, turquoise technology.
Same as Steve Wozniak.
Yeah. They've got that energy of turquoise. I mean, it's like they're all brothers, and like Judy says, these boys must have played in the same sand. But Microsoft's energy is 25-7. So again, 25 is that energy of trust. So there was the way this company markets themselves is in the energy of you can trust us. We can do things for you. And then their trust gets broken, because now and again they come out with a new update, and then the whole thing crashes and nothing works, and people get cross and they have to go and fix the glitches. And it kind of, Microsoft had that history far more intensely than Apple had when it comes to the glitches with new launches. So that 25 says they were just destined to have that experience. Then the internal workings is 21 and 3. 21 is a key, golden key kind of energy, a golden yellow bottle. And 3, again, we're sitting there with, internally, they've got this, it's like the founding energy of the company was a 3, and the internal workings of the company is a 3. And, they have to, the key says they continually have to reinvent, kind of re-look at systems, re-look at how they can make things work, put keys in new doors, if that makes sense. And then 3 is the saying our internal policy is in alignment with our founding energy, which is to go out and conquer the world. Mm-hmm. So whatever internally they do, everything is about being the best all the time, winning at everything. It's a little competitive, feels a little competitive energy there. And then the final energy, Amy, 46 is C10. There sits that sexual center, sacral energy again in the company. But very creative energy.
Well, they were the first ones to be able to show you porn from your computer.
Okay, there you go.
Nobody was searching porn on Apple. They were doing it on their Microsoft computer from the privacy of their own home. Okay. Not that that's the only thing you can do with Microsoft, but you brought up the sexy stuff.
Well, that's what the bottle is. But then again, the 10 and the 1 is the Wheel of Fortune, and the number 1 striving to be the number 1 company, striving to win, striving to, to be recognized as the leading brand. So again, that would have set up a lot of competition between them and companies like Apple as well. Mm-hmm. But what I'd like to do is to put these together, Amy.
Yeah, let's do it.
So there's the logo, of course. So they both had the color logo, except one had it at the beginning of their evolution and one had it at the end of their. Well, we hope it's not the end of Microsoft's evolution, but where they're at right now.
Yes.
And then, of course, we had Steve Jobs and you've got Bill Gates, the two main faces of the companies. They have exactly the same birth date as the founding date of a company. And this is a miraculous, if anybody knows numerology, I hope you understand that this is a little bit of a miraculous calculation, because
it's completely divinely inspired.
Yeah, for sure. These boys came from a planet. I think they came from the same planet. And I think they came down and they thought, right, we can't go to this planet and just give them one type of new technology. We got to come in and give them two different ones so they feel they have a choice. Whereas with Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook, it's like, this is how you're going to connect socially, and that's it. There was nothing else until finally Twitter came out and so on. So it's like they had this plan to say, well, let's conquer and divide our markets and bring lots of different technology and really inspire people to become creative with technology. Because I think if it was just Apple or Microsoft, we'd be stuck in a way. Having the two bounce off each other is probably what helped grow those, grow those industries and grow the technology in the directions that it's gone. So I have a feeling that these two are connected at some very, very deep kind of alien level in some planet that they came from.
Yes, 100%. 100%. Like the fact that these two companies existed within a year of one another, and the creators were 55? Yeah, same year, born in the same year.
Mm. And also the same month they launched, that 4 energy. They were going to be in the month of April. They were going to shift and shake up the industry and change the world. So that 4 comes in. The 4 to me relates to the Hathors, and the Hathors is kind of a star people that are very, very, very bright. They're totally alien looking, but they're incredibly bright. They come with very high soul IQs almost, and brought those IQs, luckily into the gene pool, into the human gene pool. So I think that has a little bit to do with that. But yeah, I mean, it's just like, you can't make this stuff up, Amy.
You really can't. And I'm so happy we're doing these like little deep dives into different companies, because we never would have even known this information. And it just makes the company head-to-head fight that they've had for so long. The leaders of the companies have been headliners for so long, like pretty much, you know, causing controversy and all that stuff. So I think now we kind of know why. Like they were brought here to do that, to shake us up.
Yeah.
And give us a team Microsoft or a team Apple. Like, yeah.
Well, I'd just say thank you for inviting me to be part of this process and share this with our audience, because it's something I've always been fascinated with, numbers, and the opportunity to talk about it and dig into these companies, something I wouldn't have done unless we were doing the show. So thank you, Amy.
Oh, wow. Well, I just enjoy learning from you, because every time I hear you speak, I just add more to my little color bank, which is amazing. And I think looking into the colors of different brands gives us, you know, insight. We can see what does it look like from a big perspective, and then we can bring it down to our own perspective.
Yeah, fantastic.
Mind-blowing show. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa.
This stuff is brilliant, Facebook user. I don't know who you are, but this blows my mind, and I'm so excited that we're doing it. But we got to TikTok and get off the air, because we want to get on to what do you call it? Instagram. So we got to be under the hour. So thank you. Right. See you next week. We're not sure who we're doing.
Thank you. Cheers.